What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Cookin and Kickin with Mike. Today, we are cooking pork spare ribs. Let's get the party started. To get the party started with me today, I brought my beautiful and hot wife. Cheers. For today's episode, we're going to be cooking beautiful spare ribs. Okay, so I picked these Prairie Fresh spare ribs up from Lee Bone's Meat Duster. That's where I get all my meats. You guys already know this. So let's get this package cut open and get it started. Oh, beautiful marbled big pork spare ribs. These are going to be delicious. Jimmy, get the heck out of here, huh? What are you doing? You can't eat these yet. Alright guys, so today we've got these beautiful pork spare ribs. Got a ton of intermuscular fat in here that we're going to slow cook and try to render that out. But first we got to start with a little bit of prep. So all of these, this one did a pretty good job already being trimmed off, but we need to chop off this little bit of skirt steak, skirt strip, skirt, whatever the hell you call it. All I'm saying is we do not need that. So we're going to get that off, and we're going to get off anything else that's like kind of unattractive. So the reason that I'm doing spare ribs and not just cutting these all the way down to a St. Louis cut is because I appreciate the rib tips. I really enjoy the extra meat. I think it's like a little bonus meat. And most of the time when you go to the store, you can buy whole packages of these spare ribs. Alright guys, so 59 minutes later, we got the membrane off of these pork spare ribs. Now all that's left to do is really square these up, shape them up a little bit, make them nice so I can get them seasoned, get them thrown on the Kamado Joe, Kettle Joe. Now the time to get them seasoned. Alright guys, so I'm going to start by seasoning the back of these today. Now when you eat a rib, this is going to be the first thing that hits your tongue, right? You're probably going to grab it from the bottom of the bone, go in there. Tongue's going to hit the bottom, so we're going to get that seasoned first. And with that, I'm going to use my Meat Duster garlic spicy smoked. It's not too hot, guys. I've used this before on this show, but it's got a good sense of heat. It's got some other great flavors in there that are going to give us some savory flavors. So I'm going to throw that right in on the bottom. And we're going to season pretty heavy. This doesn't have a ton of salt in it, but we want a ton of that flavor. So we're going to season this decently heavy. And guys, this is going to be on the smoker for at least 3 to 4 hours. So we want to make sure that these things are flavorful. We're not doing all this work for nothing. Alright, what am I doing with this? I'm just going to open up the big boy on this side. Let's get this thing going, huh? There we go. That's the type of coverage I'm talking about. That's what I want. Look at that beautiful red barbecue color that we're going to get from this. And remember guys, we always pat. So we're going to let this adhere for a little bit. And then we're going to flip it over and get the other side seasoned. Alright guys, so that the bottom side has adhered. We're ready to flip this over. And we're going to start with just a 50-50 salt pepper mix. I'm going to put this on the top. The reason why I'm doing this, so remember we put the spicy on the bottom. So I still want some savory barbecue flavors, but I'm going to end up topping it off with this TD Brews barrel-aged bourbon. We've used that before in other videos. It's got a lot of sugars in it. I'm going to do kind of a sweet spicy rub today. So we're going to start with this 50-50 of salt and pepper. And that's also going to give our ribs or our seasoning something to stick to. This salt's going to start bringing moisture out of the ribs. And then our seasoning, when we put it on, will have something to stick to. So we're just getting a nice, even coat. And the reason why I'm putting salt and pepper on this is because there's not a ton in that rub that we're putting on. And I still, like I said earlier, I want that classic barbecue taste still to shine through a little bit, even though I'm doing my different take of this. Alright, let's just finish this up here. Play in the slice a little bit. All right, so we got that salt and pepper on. Now we're gonna come back with that barrel-aged bourbon. This is where the sweet comes into play. Decently heavy coat. Man, this thing comes out perfect. I'm able to get such an even coating with this. It looks like I've done this before. All right, guys, so we need these ribs to sweat on. We need the seasoning to adhere. I want them to turn almost wet looking before I throw them on my Kamado Joe. Before I throw them on my Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. Holy cow, I'm getting tongue-tied today, guys. All right, so today we're cooking on our Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. I've got big lump charcoal and cherry wood in there. It's already come up to temp. I'm cooking at about 250. That's where I want to keep it. I know some people cook it at 225, some cook it at 275. What I've noticed is when I cook it that high on this particularly, it cooks a little bit quick for me and dries out. So I'm going to find kind of that happy medium. I'm going to cook it right at 250. The reason we're cooking with cherry wood today is because it's a little bit of a lighter smoke. This pork absorbs smoke so easily. I didn't want to do it like a harsher wood. I didn't want to use an oak. I didn't want to use a mesquite. That's why I chose to use a cherry, and it puts great color on your ribs. By the end of these, I'm looking for a great mahogany. Let's get them on the smoker. All right. Let's roll these up. Oh man, look at that, fitting perfect. So when we put these on, guys, I kind of want to scrunch them together because how tight I put them is how they're going to cook. Look at that, creating little waves already. Ooh, this one's a little bit bigger. Let's scoot that one back there. My goodness, guys, that is a perfect fit. We're not even going to worry about these guys for about 2 hours. That shut on it. Okay. All right, guys, we're not even going to worry about these for a couple hours. I'll see you then. All right, guys, so our ribs have been on now, cooking at about a solid 250, right and steady the whole time for about 3 hours. I've got some great rendering. I would normally spray throughout the process, but the ribs that I picked up, those Prairie Fresh ribs from Lee Bowen's Fine Meat, have stayed juicy the entire time. So I haven't needed to spray. It's actually been really awesome. So we're at the wrap process already. So I'm gonna get these checked out for you guys. Okay, so look at that. They've just stayed nice and tender. You can see that fat has rendered down right there. You can dang near push through it. Starting to flap like a little birdie for us. That's how we know we're good. Okay, guys, so I jacked up. I forgot that I got to put these things down. So I've got these pats of butter. I'm just going to lay this down right in the middle. And then I've got a little secret sauce for us. I've got Twisted Bee Farms Honey Hot Habanero. This is a habanero infused honey, and it is stinking delicious. So remember at the beginning, we put the spicy on the bottom and the sweet rub at top. Now we're going to come back with a little hot as well on top, and this is just going to be fantastic. So I'm going to put a pretty thick layer right where these ribs would be, and they're going to sit in here meat side down back on the smoker. And we're going to get these placed right over. Look at that. I'm going to add a little bit of honey to the back side as well, just to kind of soak in. And I've got 2 layers of tin foil right here, guys, in case it breaks through and our bones kind of tear through one layer. So I'm going to get these wrapped as tightly as I can. All right. Nice and done. They're going to go back on the smoker now, probably for about an hour. Right at 250, still meat side down now. Alright guys, what's up? We just checked the ribs and they are probing tender. They're ready to come off. We're going to take them out of the foil. We're going to reapply some more of that hot habanero honey. We're going to put it back on the smoker to tack up for about 10 minutes. Let them rest for a little bit and enjoy. Let's check these. Let's open this up. No resistance at all, just like butter. Alright guys, so let's recap what happened. So we seasoned these ribs, we let it sweat on. I threw them on the smoker at 250 for about 3 hours. We ended up wrapping them for about an hour, reglazing them, taking them off, letting them rest, and now we're ready to chop into them. They just, from first look, they just look beautiful. Like they've got a great mahogany color. You know, a little bit of the honey ended up turning brown, dark brown on us, but that's okay. It's not burnt. That's just kind of the way that what happens with sugar. So to chop these up, I'm going to get them turned over, bone size, and I'm just following the bones as I'm going. Alright guys, so I'm going to grab one of these right from the middle. Just a beautiful smoke ring. You can see this is why we leave it on. You get all that extra meat up by the rib tips. Good little honey glaze. Let's bite in and see if we get the hold. Oh, perfect one bite hold. Clean off the bone, but it's not overdone. Holy shit, these are good. Yeah, don't take my word for it, guys. You just make these on your own. But these are a tasty little treat. We done good. Alright, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Hope to see you next week. Party on.